Hi everyone, this is Arcadius and welcome back to Naval. Today we'll be reviewing the second aircraft layout for the Japanese carrier Kaga. But before that, it was update day, so let's take a look to see what has come out since then. So first we have a new sister ship. This is for Tashkent, and it's actually pretty boring, not gonna lie. Your ship gets a kind of blue color, and you have some stripes on the funnels and stripes on the gun barrels. But besides that, that looks to be about it. I haven't played her with the skin yet, so I don't know if there's any additional effects, though it doesn't say that there is. So this might just be what we get. I have renamed her Omsk after a Russian city. That may change in the future. We'll see how I feel about it. Additionally, we have the top tier Drena line Russian battleship, Katarina. Well, technically it's called in Germanland, but I've renamed her Ekaterina. And this is the ship that I've been looking for, or one of the two ships I've been looking for most. The other one being the top tier non-Dreadnought Soviet battleship. This sucker has 4 quadruple 16-inch guns. I haven't compared it to any other battleships yet, or haven't crunched its numbers, so I don't know exactly how well it's going to perform. Though it is quite small compared to other top tier battleships, so that may indicate a pretty good maneuverability and concealment. But that remains to be seen. I can tell you though that 16-inch guns is going to be very, very powerful, no matter what kind of foe you're going up against. Let's see what else was there. There was the British carrier Victorious that came out. I already have her, and she's very, very fun. She's actually very, very overpowered right now, I feel. So be prepared to have some nerfs applied, possibly. I have had 2 games in her, and my second game with her was pretty impressive. Remember, I mentioned that these bombers have 12 bombs each. Yeah, I'm not kidding. Each one carries 12 bombs, and you can have 6 of these dive bombers. And that therefore means that you can have games like this one, where you can have 326 bomb hits and do 361,000 damage and sink 5 ships with 22 fires. I started off the game by detonating this poor line. I had 21 bomb hits out of 6 aircraft, so there was a possibility of 72 bomb hits, but it only took 21 before the main gun exploded and detonated the entire ship. And that was my very first strike. And you can just see how much damage you get on these. I really wish I recorded the game, but I wasn't in a spot to. But yeah, you can just see you're doing a ton of damage with these bombs and fires. And I really do look forward to doing the review on her in a few days. But for right now, you will just have to wait and see. That being said, there's one last thing before we get into the video for today. There is a preview for another, I'm assuming it's a Prism ship, however I can't actually confirm that because they didn't actually tell us. There is another Italian cruiser coming out. This one is a tier 8 cruiser, Guisano Garibaldi. And honestly, this ship looks absolutely beautiful. There's always something about Italian cruisers that I've liked. They all look the same, honestly, but they all look very nice. She has very interesting stats. She seems to be kind of underpowered in the gun department, if not just average, with a mix of triple and twin 6-inch guns for 10 total barrels. You also have a few secondaries, and you have a triple torpedo tube launcher on each side. However, she is quite fast. Her torpedoes are kind of special as well, and I'm expecting good things from the ship with her main guns, with their shell velocity. So we're not going to talk much about her until she actually does come out. However, I am quite excited for this ship, and she looks so dang beautiful. I can't wait to have her. Alright, so that concludes the majority of the update material. I think the only last thing was that Taiho had a change to her aircraft layout. Yeah, I don't think she... Yeah, I think there were some changes to some of her flight squadrons. I'm not quite sure though. I'll have to take another look at it another time. But we are not going over Taiho today. We are going over the second layout for Kaga. So the first one that we went over is a pretty obvious one where we had 4 torpedo squadrons, 2 dive bomber squadrons, and 1 fighter squadron. And honestly, I still think this is the best way to go. This is a very attack-oriented carrier, and you have pretty much no defense. That being said, you can sacrifice one of your torpedo bomber squadrons and get more fighters. So it'll give you, what is this, 6 more fighters and separate them into 2 squadrons for 10 total. 3 torpedo squadrons is still pretty powerful though, so I don't think it'll be that big of a difference, but you never know. So let's see what we can do. I don't think I actually have ever used this setup, so it'll be a first. And let me just make sure I actually have it equipped. There we go. And let's toss her into a game and see what we can do. Alright, and here it tells a game. We're actually very, very high tier. Not quite sure why we're tossed in such a low tier game, but I will not complain about it because that's easy damage for us. Especially since we actually took away one of our torpedo bomber squadrons. So let's see what we have and where we are. So we have 1 carrier, obviously. We have 2 Nagatos, a Rodney, Colorado, 2 Miyokos, a Fiji, a Grashpe, and a Udachi. And just when I think I know how Naval Creed's matchmaking system works, it throws games like this at me. I should not be in this game at all. I should not be running into 6.5 matchmaking ships and an 8.1 matchmaking carrier. From my understanding, it should be anywhere between a minimum of 7.0 if it's a 7 and 8 matchmaking game, and a maximum of 9 if I'm in an 8 and a 9 game. Or there's an 7.5 to 8.5 as well you could use. I just don't understand this matchmaking. Alright, so I'm going to bring out my strike aircraft first, because that's the mainstay of this carrier. And honestly, there's not much in terms of AA defense in these ships. Maybe, actually, none of these battleships have necessarily strong AA, especially stock Nagatos and Colorados. They have nothing. Miyokos and Fijis, Grashpes, Udachi, nothing really has any strong AA, not even the carrier. But that therefore includes me, but I'm not too worried about it. I do have the carrier defensive AA consumable, as do all carriers do. So I should be fine in case I come under attack myself. Right, so let's make sure we're not going to run into an island first. We're going to head to Alpha. And then we're going to try and strike some of these ships. We'll figure out which ones, depending on which one is closest. Right, so I kind of want to go sink some torpedoes into some battleships. So we're going to bring those over here. I guess we'll bring over our dive bombers as well. Not quite sure how we're going to use those yet. Ooh, there's a Miyoko. That's where we can use our dive bombers. Actually, I kind of want to not be in Miyoko's anti-aircraft range. Well, actually, let's just go for it and try and go for this Colorado. Though the Rodney is stationary right now. Alright, so dive bombers, let's go. Alright, that might not be the best route because she is kind of moving, but we did have some good hits there, and we even got a fire. Alright, considering there's this major blob of ship tonnage, we're going to just, like, kind of drop haphazardly here, and we're definitely going to hit this Rodney. Yep, that was a nice chunk of 9 torpedoes. And let's see if we can use our fighters to any effect. However, there is a destroyer right next to me that I did not notice. So we're going to... Actually, if she keeps going this way, we're just going to ram her. And that'll be fine. Yep, we're just going to run her over. Puny little destroyer. Good dog. Alright, so that solves that problem. Actually, I was looking at the history on the ship. I thought these casemate guns that she has were 6-inch, but I'm pretty sure they might actually be 8-inch guns. I will have to do a little bit more investigation before I confirm that. But it would be very interesting to know that this carrier has 8-inch guns. I think Akagi has a similar thing, only she has 3 casemate guns to his side. However, since I don't have her herself, I can't tell you if she gets any more with the upgraded hull, because if you have the second hull for Akagi, you actually get more AA guns. Alright, so let's bring our dive bombers back out since they are already ready. We're capping this base here, and then we're going to go back out. Let's see what we can do with our dive bombers. Maybe we can have a decent hit on Miyoko, considering she will be quite... Actually, yeah, I'm going to go after Miyoko. I thought about using the torpedo bombers, but she is getting quite close. And I don't want to not hit her with the torpedo bombers and then just have a cruiser on my side. However, she's going to run aground again. So we're just going to wait for that. Get up all of our torpedo squadrons. And zoom back in. Well, I thought she was going to run aground, but she seems to have enough turning circle to actually make it. So we're just going to do this instead. Maybe? Come on, bombers, let's go. Alright, it's 2 fires. I will not complain about that. Alright. We're actually kind of getting close to a lot of enemy ships, so we're going to pull away for a second. Our fighters are doing absolutely nothing right now. You know what, we're just going to put them around this blob. Whatever they shoot down, they shoot down. I'm not too worried about that. The Rani is back to half health. Let's see, which one do I want to go for? I feel like the Nagato is going to be the most deadly, considering not only does she have 16-inch guns, but she also has secondaries that could do a ton of damage to me. And that might not be the best job, but I won't complain about it either. Oh, if we had just a little bit better aim, we would have been able to sink her. Oh well. Alright, so that Miyoko actually managed to survive, which means I have to use my dive bombers to attack her. Ooh, that Graf Spee just got spanked. Who did that? Oh, one of the battleships, obviously, but don't know which one. Alright, dive bombers, let's go. Actually, I might just be able to use Squad 6 if I get my drop right. So it looks pretty decent. Let's just make sure we're not running into an island. Alright, looks like Squad 7 or 6 missed. So let's use 7, though actually I feel like she's gonna sink to this Nagato. So I'm actually gonna go after this Graf Spee then. And help our team out. Alright, so we are kind of widespread. Ooh, it went back down to narrow, back to widespread, back to narrow. 3 bomb hits and a fire. Alright, I will not complain about that. The Miyoko did go down. The Graf Spee will continue to burn, though with the Nagato pushing her, she will not last long either. Let's see, how are our fighters doing? Not really doing anything, actually. Though I'm not quite sure that the Nagato will survive, considering the carrier is now deciding to focus on her. Alright, torpedo bombers are up. So let's decide what we want to attack. First, we're going to kind of head this way. And actually, I'm going to bring out my dive bombers and get them ready to attack this Kaga. So they're going to come all the way over here. And my fighters, I actually want you to start being useful and start attacking aircraft. As you can see, this ship is very attack oriented, so there's not really any chance for you to use your fighters effectively, or at least not when I play her. Alright, so let's see here. We have 2 juicy targets. We have a half-sunk Rodney, or we have a full health Colorado. So I think we all know what I'm going to go after. And try and get the most damage, because if we are almost able to sink a Nagato, we should be able to sink a Colorado. And my point is proven. Alright. So let's see here. Ooh, that Kaga is almost down. Speaking of Kagas, where am I? About to run into an island. We're actually just going to stop, because we don't need to go anywhere else. Alright, dive bombers. Let's see if we can get some little bit of damage on this carrier. Fighters, do what you can against those torpedo bombers. Alright, so we caught the attention of the enemy's fighters, which actually has the same layout as I do. Alright, so let's drop our bombs, hopefully soon. There we go. 4 bomb hits and a fire. And another 3. Let's bring our torpedo bombers back out. Fighters are just kind of meh. Let's see if we can knock down some more of these strike aircraft before the game ends. And it looks like we might have another kill as well, because this ship is, blocked by the... So it'll be my torpedo bombers that actually end up sinking her. Should be very nice. It looks like all of our fighters ran out of ammo, but we did knock down some aircraft. And this isn't a perfect drop, but she doesn't need much. So I think a few torpedoes on the side should work. I am going to keep Squad 3 though, just in case it doesn't work. And it's a good thing, because it doesn't look like enough armed. So we're just going to drop Squad 3 back here. And that will be game. So, let's see how we did. In a minute. There we go. Alright. So we sank quite a few ships. We got a pretty decent amount of torpedo hits. Alright, so 221,000 damage, 4 ships are sunk, 29 torpedo hits, 17 bomb hits, 26 aircraft shot down, 6 fires, 4 floodings, 1 capped base, 2 defended caps, and 7 secondary hits, surprisingly, with 8,600 base XP. So we did 24,000 damage in fires and floodings, secondary battery did 4,000 damage, torpedoes did 160,000 damage, bombs did 25,500, and ramming did almost 7,000 damage as we completely annihilated that Udachi. So, all in all, this carrier is going to be good no matter how you set her up. She's very, very powerful for her tier. However, I do enjoy having 4 squadrons of torpedo bombers, so I can drop 16 torpedoes at once. That being said, the dual fighters does help if you are under attack. Not by much, but it does help a little bit, I guess. So you can certainly use that to your advantage if you so choose. That being said, I will wrap up today's video. If you liked the video, make sure you like and subscribe, and join me tomorrow while we go over the second setup for aircraft for USS Enterprise, which we haven't actually seen since her remake. So we'll do her tomorrow. So again, thank you and take care.